Trade Unions for Energy Democracy is a network that was born in 2012, and after a couple of years we have realized that the challenges in different regions were completely different at some point, and at the same time the challenges are still the same, which is facing climate change and facing it from the perspective of the workers. But the worker situations in different regions of the world are of course different. And in Europe, 2 years ago, we decided to try and have regional chapters to discuss the particularities of the regions. In Europe, you have European directives and also some national acts or policies that are discussing energy transition, and we need to have particular responses to those initiatives. For example, in Switzerland there was recently a referendum on energy transition, and we need to have a workers' voice to be part of that initiative once it's going to take place. And probably that is different from a situation in Brazil when the main challenge might be extractivism and a coup d'etat related to the oil company. So that is why we are discussing about the possibilities of developing TUED in Europe. Well, the challenge is to grow as a union movement, because the trade unions in Europe have been declining. So at the same time we have the challenge of growing, but it's also an opportunity to grow with the climate change agenda, because it's something that affects the communities and that affect workers in particular, but also workers as members of communities. So if you want to grow as a union, taking the environmental agenda might be one tool to grow. The challenges are huge, because having climate change in a union agenda that is dealing with the day-to-day life of the union and of the workers, and dealing with collective bargaining, with dismissals, with all that stuff, and then you go and tell people now you have to discuss climate change, then that is absolutely difficult. But if you say what we are discussing is industrial policy and the future of your region, the future of your country, who owns the energy, what about retaking control of water and all that stuff, then the discussion is different. And I think that also one of the challenges that we have is linking some of the campaigns that already exist in trade unions with climate change, as the campaigns against free trade agreements. Today we absolutely need to make the link between what is at stake in TISA, for example, and what can be done to face climate change. And what does it mean, the investors' protection clauses that are in different trade agreements to implement new green or renewable energies at the municipal level, for example. So those are challenges that we can face, and that's why TUED is growing at some point. If we think about the US campaign, for example, you have the energy question was at the heart of the campaign. You had Donald Trump defending fracking, the pipeline, defending repression of indigenous people, etc. And on the other side, you had Bernie Sanders, who was promoting a ban on fracking or a fracking moratorium. Why is it? Because when we talk about energy, you talk about the core of our societies and the core of capitalism. So I think that that is what it's been taken into consideration from a right-wing point of view, but also, and finally, I could say, from a left-wing point of view, because it was always seen as, oh, okay, why do we have to care with saving the pandas? That is for NGOs. But if you put it as it is at the heart of capitalism, then that is absolutely should be part of a left-wing agenda.